Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Morning, everyone. Mayor Viter Fleur is not going to be here this morning, so I'll lead the meeting in her place. I'm Joe Anderson, for those of you who don't know me, Mayor Pro Tem in Inglewood. So I believe it is 8 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and begin our Tri-Cities Homelessness Policy Group for June 12th. Welcome. And our first report up is from our coordinator, Jessica Cox. Jessica, take it away.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'll go ahead and share my screen. Okay. So I will get into some of the items that were in the previous action plan that have been carried over to the new action plan that are in progress, and the action steps that have been taken for each. For building a strong foundation, create a welcome home community engagement program. Under develop a single adult system, strengthen outreach to landlords, and sponsor our PSH feasibility assessment. Under develop workforce development programs, engage with AD Works and support Ready to Work partnership. And under develop a family system, designate a lead service provider. For creating a welcome home engagement program, we will begin the procurement of the welcome home basket items as part of our landlord initiative plan. This part was weaved into the landlord initiative work. So there's a few action items that are outlined in the landlord initiative plan. So we will finalize the items at the next housing stability cohort meeting, which will be on Monday. And I anticipate having procurement and everything bought for the welcome home baskets by early July. For strengthening landlord outreach, still working on the landlord outreach initiative work plan that's in place, working alongside Arapahoe County. A revised version was approved by the steering committee on December 5th. And what that outlines is the Key Heart training that was completed on the 28th and 30th, which equipped community partners and agencies that have housing navigators with skills to build long-lasting, sustainable relationships with landlords. All of the agencies that were represented at the Key Heart training were then part of our housing stability cohort, which meets monthly. And they are incentivized. Well, the incentive for the landlords would be that they get a gift card with housing placement, which will open up more funds for the individual to use for housing, for rent, for down payment. And then they'll also get a welcome home basket. I've re-engaged with the housing stability cohort. So we will resume our monthly meetings on Monday. All Health Path is present, Arapahoe County Housing Navigators with Family Tree and South Metro Housing. And then we will begin placement incentives as outlined in the work plan of the gift cards and welcome home baskets once an individual is placed in the Tri-Cities region by an agency that is involved with our housing stability cohort. For PSH feasibility assessment, all evaluation and results were received. So procurement has calculated the responses. That was completed on the 28th. 2 responses were tied. So at the recommendation of our procurement, we will be entering a second phase that will include presentations and working out the details of what the presentation and the scoring will look like is underway with the evaluation committee. I expect to have that completed, hopefully by tomorrow. And then from there, our procurement will give all consultants 2 weeks so they can prepare for presentation. And hopefully we can have a presentation in place the first week of July. And then from there, a consultant will be determined by the evaluation committee. For supporting Ready to Work and that partnership, as they've just opened, I will open up those conversations with the Navigation Center and Ready to Work to explore areas that they will need continued partnerships and any gaps in services that they may need support with and help facilitate those partnerships. For Engage with AD Works, I am meeting with the supervisor of Parents to Work program within AD Works, and we will explore ways that we can support our family systems. I hope to bring them into conversations with our working family group and see how we can work together. Also involve them in conversations with our MKV liaisons once the school year starts back up. And then as we lean into the work with designating a lead family service provider, have a solid plan of action where we can bring in Parents to Work and AD Works to support our lead family service provider. For designating a lead service provider for families, I completed community outreach meetings and met with 6 agencies in the Tri-Cities area. That was completed on the 4th of June. I completed our scope of services for our RFP, and that was completed on the 5th of June. So the RFP will be submitted to the county procurement. After revisions recommended by our procurement, the RFP will be issued. And I anticipate that being issued and being completed, the revisions being completed the end of June and it being issued early July. And then some additional items. I've looked into reassessing our data metrics so that it's in alignment with our new action plan. And this will be reflected in the monthly dashboards that are released under our action plan implementation status, and then also in our upcoming policy group meetings that give percentages to how much of the action plan is complete. So those will be reflected in the next policy group meeting. I also represented Tri-Cities at Colorado NARO Conference in Pueblo as a panelist on homelessness response, regional homelessness response, alongside Jefferson County and Adams County on May 14th. And I've worked with All Health Path to complete our advanced quality data verification with MDHI and Community Solutions. And that will support Tri-Cities reaching functional zero for veteran homelessness and to maintain our quality data designation in the region. And that was completed on the 29th of May. And then as Bridge House opened, I coordinated unified communications between our 3 cities, Arapahoe County and Bridge House, to support all media inquiries and press releases related to Bridge House opening.
Great, thank you, Jessica. It's good to see progress moving forward on the family side of things and appreciate all of your work on that. Does anybody have any questions for our coordinator before we continue on in the agenda? All right, seeing none, we'll go on to agenda item 2. We have an update from Bridge House Ready to Work and the Navigation Center. And I believe Melissa Green was not able to be here, but we perhaps have Ashley Beck available, who's the lead case manager, to present on the Bridge House update.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm actually the manager over the Navigation Center. But same thing. We all cover all different areas wherever we're lacking. So I have a PowerPoint. I just got to figure out how to share my screen. View maybe? I don't know. Share. Yeah.
There we go.
Did I get it in there?
We see your screen, but not the PowerPoint. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, we see it. Thank you. Thank you, Ashley.
Yeah, so we opened, I want to say that we opened officially May 15th for our ribbon cutting. We had more than 150 guests attend our program, including municipal leaders. We had plenty of Change the Trend individuals there. Arapahoe was there. It was a great turnout. And then all of the meal that was provided was our actual kitchen, our catering CTK kitchen that did all the meal and provided that, as well as our trainees and graduates came and served, basically manned all of the serving in the stations. So this update for navigation was for the monthly update that I sent out. I do have a spreadsheet of everybody that's accessed our services, of those individuals as of the 8th of this month. 66 individuals were serviced with us. And then we did have some that exited, like they just decided to opt out day 2. When goals were supposed to be created and a plan was supposed to be put into place. Others went into the Ready to Work program. And then there was 2 different programs that were accessed actually. So Ready to Work Inglewood, and some opted to go to the Ready to Work Aurora location. And then we had a bunch go into sober living. There was a lady that just came in to find housing for 55 plus that we helped find housing for an apartment of her own. Since being open, we have put people in, well, we haven't put them in, but we've helped them find full-time employment through our outside agencies that come in and help navigate with us during the day. And there have been a lot of part-time employment because we did put on a flaggers class, and we got 8 individuals certified with flaggers certs. So they have been actively using those certifications and going into temp to hire jobs. And then 2 have went back to family and just reunified with family. Currently, right now, Ready to Work has 14 trainees, 10 are men, 4 are women. And then we have started putting our Inglewood trainees out on our Inglewood and Sheridan and Lakewood contracts. So we do have, I believe, 3 contracts that we rotate out and utilize the trainees in the Ready to Work program to service. Says we have visited community partners. I think we're actively still doing that. It's huge for me to continue to create those pathways with our community partners. A lot of our referrals in navigation are coming from community partners, letting them know, like, we'll help with them to create a solid plan and to house the individuals till they get to that point of that plan. So we still are actively out connecting with our community partners, and then we are actively participating in the Change the Trend weekly meetings. It's important to us to be involved in our community out here. And then We do work with drug court. We actually have more than just one client now. I have 3. One is actively in the Ready to Work program in Inglewood, and then I have 2 that are on my side. And then we do work with MAT Services, Porchlight, CMS. We've been partnering with them. Some of the things that aren't on that list that I would like to put out there, I have had the Arapahoe County, right, you know, the ones that ride along the mental health, all health ride-alongs. I have had one call where I had to have them come out and get somebody to crisis. That was a very quick response. They were very helpful and resourceful. I appreciate All Health in that situation. We got the guy to crisis to get his needs met, and then we have also been able to coordinate multiple different detoxes, which has relieved, I believe, the police and the ERs, because I can get them into a taxi and get them to detox and then get them back here and get them into a plan of action. So I think that we've been beneficial in that sense as well. And then on Ready to Work side, it's longer term goals that they set, but all of the goals are surrounding finding stable work, finding stable housing, and building community support networks. So on Ready to Work, it's longer term that they can work on those goals. On the navigation side, we try to stay under that same umbrella, but it's a little bit more of a shift. So finding some kind of financial stability, finding some sustainable housing instead of being unhoused, and then building community support and partnering with other agencies to get them connected to services that would help them longer term. I have one guy that is doing child reunification from my side, and I think, you know, it's really benefiting him to be off the streets, and trying to build up that fatherhood in his life a little bit and connecting him with fatherhood supports. And then, yeah, so we have been able to create that pathway from, it says addiction, but in all around, we've been breaking down the stigma of like addiction, mental health, and just lowering a little bit of their barriers and getting them back into full-time work or even part-time work, or helping them coordinate into like a long-term care facility if that's something that they need, because we have a couple clients that we are doing that currently with. Here's our lovely picture of everybody at the ribbon cutting. I think it was a great turnout. It was fun. Everybody seemed pretty happy to be a part of it, and we were definitely happy for all of you guys to show up. More of the ribbon cutting and the partners that were there, and the staff as well that took place in that. So we stay pretty full on the navigation side, and the way we're staying full is we've got word of mouth from other community places that service in unhoused individuals of what we offer, but we also have a lot of partnerships with like sober livings that are doing intakes and they just don't have the bed space yet, or the courts that need to get their people off the street so they can be more successful. And we're seeing a really good turnout as far as getting the right people into navigation versus just kind of a free-for-all, just let's drop everybody off. And I appreciate that, because navigation is not like shelter. It's more of a, we need to navigate them short-term into a better placement than the streets. So again, some of the outcomes, and most of these outcomes are on the MDHI system. We're very adamant about putting our people in there. I have a spreadsheet. I have everybody in the MDHI system. except for there's 5 people that utilize day services that don't want their names spoke at all, which is fine. We'll give them time. That's fine with me. We'll eventually get them there, I feel like, because it's just one conversation at a time. And it seems their level of trust is building, and I think we'll eventually get them to where we're getting them in a database and getting them into some services longer term. We've had 2 successful exits into Urban Peak, 6 into the transitional work or housing, and then full-time employment is 3. We've provided day services. Well, so the day services, I would say all 66 individuals came through that door expecting day services. But 12 are pretty just standard for day services, continue to come back for lunch, shower, laundry, and talk to a peer coach. And then 1 exited to a shelter, unfortunately, couldn't help him get his papers, but I did connect him with the right resources. It's just going to be a longer term thing for him to work on that. So part-time or temporary employment, there's more of those that aren't listed, but we had 8 enter the flagger cert, and of those 8, I know that 5 are currently actively out there temporarily flagging. And then 1 was referred to Fort Lyons, and then 2 of them went back to their family. I forget I'm not on my computer, so it's not a touch. On the Ready to Work side, again, 14 trainees, 10 men, 4 women, 5 trainees are on outdoor crew, which it actually went up just this last week, but as of the 8th, 5 trainees were on the work crew. We are actively working a contract in Inglewood 5 days a week, and then we have contracts in the cities of Sheridan and Lakewood. And we did pitch a contract to South Central. So we'll see what comes of it. And then we would love to help in any way. If you guys need any services, you can either email me or Melissa. We'll get you connected with the person that you need to be connected with. And we're pretty generalized. We can probably do most of your work that, would help relieve some of what the city guys are having to do. So our referral partner process is, I like outreach, so I'm out on the streets all the time. Word of mouth is huge for our clients. They come in and they say that they heard it from a friend. Street outreach is huge for us. DOC has always been a great referral source for us. Detox is huge right now, and Change the Trend. They've been amazing in helping coordinate with us and getting some people serviced. Drug court, that's been a huge one. And shout out to Giving Heart, because I swear those ladies are just trying to keep us full constantly. Again, the case management on Ready to Work is longer term goals. We do have a recovery coach agency that is over there teaching in-house groups. So there's 4 groups that a week going on over there. We do require that on that side, clients do 2 substance groups, and then 1 outside support group. So it could be church, could be AA, NA, it could be just an outside agency providing some kind of fun activity, sober fun activity. We love that. One guy wants to come and do a fly fishing, teach people how to fly fish for an hour, and he said he'd pick them up, which is great. And then, oh yeah, our first client was a rough one. So he did come off fentanyl and meth, and he completely went sober on us, and he is out working on our contracts. I'm super proud of that guy. he went through a really rough patch to get where he's at. And within the 2 months that we've been open, I say 2 months, but it's roughly 1.5, complete turnaround and change. We did have a lady that was addicted to fentanyl and crack, and then she connected with behavioral health and is now in sober living, or is now sober and on our work crew. So I think we're following along with certain clients to do some tracking as far as what the ripple effect is from just the ready to work side of it. And I think you'll see more of those videos later on our website. And that's kind of what I've got so far. So this is, we're kind of wondering if anybody has any like expectations that we might be lacking in, or if there's any ideas. One thing that I know that we're missing on the navigation side is employment opportunities and services. I have tried to refer a couple people down to the Douglas County Arapahoe Works place, and they're like, it's too far. And I'm like, well, I'm getting my truck, let's go. Oh, you know, I've been there, they won't help me. I'm like, it's not true. Like, I don't know who you talk to. I know everybody wants to help. You just need to tell them how to help you. So I don't know if we could somehow have like a way to get some kind of employment opportunity services here. Maybe if you guys know of a way, that would be great. That's kind of one thing that I know I'm lacking in over here. And then a bus route. So, oh, there's so many hands. Great. So I'll take this slideshow. I don't know how to do this. Let me see if I can. How do I take it off? Stop sharing. There we go. And I'll go back to the screen and answer a couple questions. So, Catherine.
Hi, Ashley. It's Kathy from Arapahoe County. You mentioned a connection to Arapahoe Douglas Works, and we had a meeting and also provided that information to you a couple of times, I believe. So please feel free to reach out to myself, to Lizzie, the contacts that we provided for Arapahoe Douglas Works, because we are happy and excited to be on site and provide some services there in person. So I wanted to first make sure that connection was there. And then second, I had a question early on in your presentation. You had mentioned that there were some of the 66 that had been serviced and had chosen, not to move forward with an extended plan. Do you have any numbers on, and maybe you said it and I didn't hear it, but numbers on how many of those 66? So how many have been moved into the transitional housing, and how many have, decided not to move forward beyond kind of the day 1, 2 situation?
So, yeah. Can you hear me, or am I just talking? Yeah, you can hear me.
No, I can hear you.
It says, here's the screen. I shared it again. So 6 of the 66 that were serviced went into, and this was at June 8th is when they pulled this. So 6 of them went into transitional housing, which is next door. And then, so the numbers kind of break it down. I believe.
Perfect. So that means
much.
60 just decided not to continue on? Okay.
There was probably the 12 out of the 12. Dang, I have a report too. I sent it to Melissa for this purpose. I don't believe it was only, so we've had probably about 20% of them, they just opted out.
Okay, got 20%. That's helpful.
Yeah, and then what they did is they got a bed. If they did stay, they only stayed for maybe 1 or 2 days, and then they kind of just didn't come back, which is kind of disheartening, but
Sure.
they can definitely come back. And then we had a guy that we had longer term that we really were like banging our heads together to work with, and day 28, he just went AWOL on us. So 20%, I would say, just go back into it. They get disheartened, or they just, it's a lot of rules. I wouldn't say it's a lot of rules, because we just have certain policies and procedures. They're posted. We ask the clients to read them when they get signed in. And then they're just too much for them to follow. And then they just leave and don't come back. We're not a one and done. So I've let people in late at night that were, broke curfew, which curfew is 9 o'clock. They have to be back to continue to utilize the bed. But I mean, we've tried to work with individuals and give them multiple chances to keep coming back. If we see them out in the community, we're like, hey, what happened? Just come back. Let's do this again. Let's try it again. Of those 66 individuals that we've serviced, I know that I have 5 that have came back at least twice. And it's just, I don't know that they're ready. So
Sure. No, that makes complete sense. Just wondered about kind of percentages. So that's really helpful on the 20%. And I think that's to be expected. Sometimes you've got to build the relationship and continue to be there. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
yes, ma'am.
And Ashley, how are the beds in the navigation center being utilized? Do you have people staying there pretty regularly till they get the services they need?
Yeah, so I have 20 cots, and like I said, we've been pretty full since the last 3 weeks. Now that it's a little warmer, we've been down to maybe about 18, 19 that are being utilized. We'll have like one extra one, but that's about it. But we've been steady being full, and the way it works is anybody can stay one night. We just want to get their basic needs met on that first night, so shower, meals, get them a good night's rest. They obviously have to do the paperwork to be put into HMIS, because it's important to us that everybody can see our data. And then the next day, day 1 is what we call it. We have them stay for the day. They'll meet with the case manager, and then we're building that the daily goal plan, and we do check in pretty regularly. So probably every day we're asking them what they're doing, what they're working on, what they're struggling with. I mean, I check in all the time, every day. I come in, I do a house meeting with them, and if they're saying that there's something they're lacking, I'm like, stay with me, we'll get it figured out. And so we're doing that on a daily basis, just checking in with them on their goals that we've created. And they have to continue to show progress to be in an bed. And then also we have to assess if they're a short-term navigation plan. If they're not, then we're navigating them into where they can get longer-term navigating. And that's kind of what we have to do, because after 28 days, they're stressed out. They don't want to, they're like, I'm disheartened, I'm not getting anywhere. So we're pretty strict on the short-term navigating piece, but that doesn't mean that a longer-term navigation plan isn't accepted here. We're just not keeping them longer-term. We're navigating them to a place that would help them longer-term.
Great. Looks like Gretchen has a question.
Yeah. Hi, Ashley. Great to see you again. I'm wondering, so are you using the navigation center and those beds as the entry point? Like that's sort of the screening, like people who come through there then will go into the longer term care program, or are you doing direct outreach for your 28-day, your longer program?
So do you mean for the longer navigation beds? Yeah. So I will put them in a bed. Anybody can stay one night, but that next day when we're realizing that they're a longer term goal plan, if it's something I can navigate within the 28 days, I'm going to keep them and navigate them. Like I have a guy he needs a nursing facility. He's at week 2. I'm keeping him until he gets into that nursing facility, which we're just one physical away from. So it's not like I'm just sending them out. I'm following through with that, because that's important to me to just walk that with them. I'm not just like, oh, here's a resource, good luck. I just don't believe in that type of work. So we're pretty efficient in getting, if they need a longer term navigation point, you will know by day one. When we're doing that case management plan and having that meeting and doing that conversation, and then we're creating that pathway to, okay, this is longer term, let's get started on it now, and figure out what the steps he needs to do to get into that longer term program is.
No, I meant like, are you recruiting through the navigation center? Are you using that as a vehicle to recruit for your on-site, not the navigation program, but the ready to work side?
Oh,
That's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah, most of the people that come in here saying they want to get into ready to work, it's pretty simple. We just give them an application. We house them here because so ready to work works a little different. Usually if you're if you're trying to get into ready to work, it's kind of like a couple day process. And usually they'll ask that person to come back, like go wherever you're staying and come back to us when you know, you've got your background cleared or whatever. So we are housing those people just because if they have a short-term navigation plan. But we're not like housing them on our side to do, I guess, what the intern process is over at Ready to Work. No. So if they want to go to Ready to Work, we're getting the application, we're getting it to the next door people, but that's not like the goal plan as far as what I'm working on over here. That's an option, but we're still going to continue to work on multiple plans until that option goes through, because not everybody is a great fit for Ready to Work. And they don't, it's funny because a lot of people come in here saying they want to be in Ready to Work. And I'm like, you don't have to say that to be on my side. Like, we're going to navigate you to what your real plan, what you really want. And you'll find out that a lot of times when they say they wanted to go to Ready to Work, it's because an outside partner is like, yeah, just tell them you want to go to Ready to Work and they'll get you in there and you'll be off the streets. And I'm like, that doesn't, you're probably, if you're not a good fit for Ready to Work, let's work on other things too. But I let them do their process, but I'm not, yes, it can feed the program, but I'm not consistently feeding that program. Only if they want the people and the people want that, that's what I'm giving them, but we're navigating them to where they need to go and where they want to actually go.
And for the navigation center portion, is there specific hours only that you are doing triage or you're doing intakes?
Yes. So right now it's Monday. So it's Monday through Friday, 9 to 3. But I have a case manager here on Saturday and Sundays. So let me tell you, if anyone walks up and we have a bed space during the weekend, 9 to 3, and he's here, he's going to put him in a bed. We just don't have like outside agencies set up to be here during that time. To offer outside supports, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to get a bed. If he is here, we're letting them in the bed if we have a bed for them, and we're ideally going to start opening up probably next month, beginning of next month, 7 days a week, because that's what a navigation center is. And we want to feed the people 7 days a week, and we want to put them in beds and navigate them if we can 7 days a week. We're already kind of doing that. Just we're not telling everybody that we're doing that because we're not set up for that.
Okay.
There's a bunch of hands. Tara.
Hey, Ashley. Thanks so much for being here. I think this has been really valuable, and I just wanted to put out to the group and to you, I think it would be helpful to have, either you or Melissa come back like quarterly maybe and keep us updated if that's something that you all are available for. Or, if you want to share some status with Jessica to communicate with us, I just think we want to make sure we keep those lines of communication open,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm keeping very good track and log. It's important for me to show valuable data to everybody. So we're going to be able to provide all of the data along the way, whatever quarter you need it at.
Great, thank you.
And Devin?
Hi, Ashley. Thanks for being here today. Really appreciate it. I have two questions, or maybe one suggestion and then a question. You had talked a little bit earlier about you've had some interaction with the co-responder programs for the city, so the folks that ride along with the police officers from All Health. And I would maybe suggest, I know you talked about doing some outreach. I would maybe suggest that reaching out to those co-responder folks with each of the police departments and the sheriff's department, and just kind of maybe doing a little education with them, because I think we've got a lot of folks that have kind of heard of what you guys are doing there, but they don't maybe fully understand. So reaching out to the co-responders, the police departments, to do a little education with them, I think would be very helpful. And then my question has to do with the building. So you guys have been in the building here for a little bit. How's everything going with the building? Are we having any problems, or is everything going well?
So to answer the first one, the suggestion, I literally had an incident yesterday and I had some paramedics here for a guy that was having a seizure, and you're absolutely right, because I was under the impression that everybody kind of knew what we did. We did have some trainings and tours on site before we opened up with paramedics and certain police departments. But yeah, the guy that came yesterday was like, what is this place? So that's a great suggestion, and I was gonna actually go out probably, well, so it's just me here today. I can't do outreach today, but I did have a plan of, there's a police department I passed by, just because based off of what was said yesterday, I was like, they don't even know what we're doing. And then I've been to the hospital once. I took a client in the hospital. They had no idea who I was, or what we did. And I think that's a great piece that we are missing a little bit, because we can relieve a little bit of stress off them as well, and they would be a little bit more wiser with knowing the resources around them. So yeah, I appreciate that suggestion. It's something that's on my list of things to do.
Well, and please let us know if there's anything that we can do to facilitate it. Let us know, because you've got, in this group, you've got mayors, city managers, police chiefs, everybody here that can help facilitate that. And maybe we can coordinate a time when we can send our folks to you, so you don't have to go running around all over the place, and educate everybody at once.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And Melissa, our CEO, is actually, she was a firefighter, so she's got a huge heart out there for the work that the paramedics do, and the firefighters. So I do believe she wants to head that up, because those are her people. And I don't mind doing it as well. But I would love to have you guys come by, all of them, and anybody can stop in. I will take 10 minutes out of my day to just explain what we do, who we accept on both sides, and how it works. But I have no barriers on my side. So if you bring them to me and you don't know what to do with them, I swear I will help you all day long figure it out.
Ashley,
home at 3:30.
Ashley, what would be easy for brokering that? Because Devin's right. We have all those co-responders information. I have the contact of the manager at our walk-in crisis center. That should be a contact point. Do you want an email introduction? Do you want just their phone? Like, what would be easiest for you?
I would say if you want to do an email introduction with Melissa, and you could copy me on it, because Melissa is crazy busy right now, because everything just opened. Everybody wants to pull her in all kinds of different directions. But I'm trying to make myself available for everybody, as well as continue to manage this navigation center to the best of my ability. But I'm pretty adaptable, so I will get it on the books and get it done. That's for sure. And Melissa will definitely do it as well, as long as it's like in an email.
Will you drop both of your emails in the chat, just so while I'm thinking of it now, I can do it before I start my real job in 15 minutes. Okay.
And then there was a hand raised.
Yeah, we had Chief Jackson is on the call, and he had his hand raised. Do you want to say anything, Chief?
I was just going to follow up with that and just say, yeah, I know that we've been over there a couple of times just to meet and a lot of my staff, but if specifically you want co-responders, I'm happy to facilitate that. Or if you want to come to our roll calls and kind of educate. Happy to do that, whatever we can do.
Good. All right, any other questions or comments? Ashley, you're doing great work. It's so good to hear all the stories and the successes that you're having so far. And I especially like to hear the coordination that's going on between Change the Trend and MRU and just all the different services that we have going on in Inglewood. This is what we do it for, and we've been sitting in these virtual meetings for a couple of years, and now to see Bridge House up and going and the navigation center working, you guys are doing the hard work, but it's something that I feel like we as a group can really celebrate, and we really I appreciate just hearing your passion and willingness to bend over backwards to help the folks that are coming into the navigation center. So thank you so much from the Tri-Cities group.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
And I see we have Mayor Beider-Fleur back with us. Mayor, do you want to finish leading the meeting, or?
If you wouldn't mind going ahead, I don't have the agenda up, so.
No problem, not a problem. So the next thing on the agenda is a roundtable. Do we have anyone from any of our service providers or anyone else who wants to provide a quick update? All right, seeing none, that will conclude our meeting about 15 minutes early here. Thank you everyone for coming. Our next meeting is on Thursday, July 10th. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thanks, Joe.
See ya.
Thank you. Bye.